No place like the Q.
Coming across your airwaves, dance with me. It's an intersection all day. And it's gonna bring you the weekly.
Family, is the news overwhelming? Is it just too much? Well, I get you, and I got you.
Yeah.
Family, this is your favorite queer radio personality, Anna Deshawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment. This is your number one stop for queer news done right, only on E3 Radio. See, if there's creators out here who are looking and waiting for their breakthrough, looking and waiting for that one yes that they need, what would you tell them in this moment?
In sales, we say in order to get your first yes, you got to get 10 no's.
Mm.
So put yourself out there 10 times and you'll get your first yes. And then after that, get ready for the next 10 no's into the next yes. And and if for any reason you keep hearing no's, create your own yeses. Well, I'll tell you that I've always been myself. But once I started making content for the shit I like to see, that's when things changed. Like, we don't do nothing we ain't called to do. Don't do shit you ain't called to do. Don't work for social media unless social media work for you.
That's a mic drop and a word that I receive. That was T. Sanders spitting a word during our interview on Friday. T is a comedian, social media star, and 2026 NAACP Image Award winner. She has broken through in the entertainment game with her viral dip dance. If y'all haven't seen it, it's hilarious, okay? And being on the Roundtable Game Show with the it's okay. Being black, gay, and masked, who likes to twerk. She has done her thing. And did I mention she's from Chicago too? This interview was a big get for us, okay? A big get for Queer News. And I hope you tune in because that clip is just a taste of how good our conversation was. So listen in on our YouTube channel at E3 Radio. And of course, I put a link in the show notes and I might run it back on the pod. Now, have you joined the Substack yet? It's our weekly newsletter. Okay, it's our weekly newsletter, but it also houses our lists, our guides, and special episodes. I'm writing and sharing more and stretching myself, and it feels good. It feels good. Queer News is more than just a podcast now. It's a feeling like we're really building a community of folks who care about our humanity. So come on now. Join the newsletter, join the community, queernewspod.substack.com. Of course, it is in the show notes, but let me just tell you again, okay? queernewspod.substack.com. Join the movement. QCrew, y'all are the movement. You are actively helping to sustain this work. Your financial gifts help us to continue to pay for our editor, Ryan, who I wouldn't want to do this podcast without. And I know soon enough, your gifts will be able to cover the cost of our producer. Yes, my assistant, And maybe one day, I can too get paid. So if you believe in the work we do, if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, and if you love and respect how I report on the news and tell our stories, come on now, join the QCrew. It starts as low as $5 a month. That's like a coffee. It's less than a coffee. Check the show notes. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I ask that we take a moment of silence for the victims of the Berlin Pride attack. On Saturday, Berlin hosted one of the biggest Pride celebrations in all of Europe, Christopher Street Day. Christopher Street Day is, of course, a homage to the famed Christopher Street in New York City, where Stonewall Inn lives and where the modern LGBTQ rights movement began with a brick. Well, Saturday night, a man drove his white van through a crowd of people, injuring 29 individuals and killing one person. The suspect was armed with a blade and stabbed multiple people during the chaos. The Pride event was abruptly canceled, and local event organizers urged people to evacuate as the suspect was believed to be at large. Today, the suspect is identified as 21-year-old Abdul Balut. Local law enforcement shot and killed Abdul in the early hours of the morning after he allegedly rushed at them with a knife. The police revealed that back in May, Abdul was sentenced to over a year in prison for, quote, preparing a serious act of violence endangering the state, end quote. As of the writing and telling of this story, the identity of the deceased woman has yet to be revealed. Hundreds gathered this morning for a memorial service to mourn the loss of life near Germany's iconic Brandenburg Gate. German Chancellor Merz condemned the act, saying, quote, "I would like to say this to Christopher Street Day participants here in Berlin, but also across Germany. Don't let us not let ourselves be intimidated. These acts have only one purpose. They aim to divide our society. They want to take away from us the most important thing we have, namely our openness and our freedom," end quote. Amsterdam Pride is currently taking place this week, and event organizers said they will closely monitor their security. The Berlin attack will continue to be investigated, and we'll keep you updated on any major developments. Rest in peace to the person that lost their life in this senseless act of violence. And may we keep our prayers lifted for those that were harmed, injured, and impacted. Because did you know that up to 1 million people participate in Berlin's Christopher Street Day parade every year? May we never forget. Now for our other news of the day. Our top story, $200 million in HIV prevention federal grants are at risk because the Trump administration is at it again. More in politics, there's a rugby team called the Baltimore Ferals who won't comply with Trump's trans sports ban. In culture and entertainment, the one, the only Meshell Ndegeocello debuts a new album of cover songs. Raven Symone is to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and Chicago's Esteem Awards uplifts LGBTQ folks doing the good work in the city and beyond. Let's get into it. Let's talk $200 million, family. That's right, $200 million in federal funding towards HIV prevention are at risk after the CDC has allegedly declined to renew the grant program. The current grant runs through September thanks to an extension passed earlier this year, and some speculate that the CDC will announce a new program and/or funding opportunity in place of the current grant, but there's no guarantees that's going to happen, which leaves 96 organizations without crucial funding. And what's interesting is this grant has been in circulation for more than 30 years. 30 years. So to cut it now with no alternative in sight is alarming, disheartening, and disgusting. Organizations need this funding to continue providing free, low-cost HIV prevention services to the general public. Prep for All Communities and Mobilization Manager Michael Chansley had this to say, quote, "Many communities impacted by HIV don't have access to traditional sexual health care, either due to Medicaid and ACA cuts or because of healthcare deserts. Many people rely on community-based organizations for routine HIV testing and linkage to PrEP care, where services are not otherwise accessible or affordable in their communities," end quote. The lack of funding could also lead to the closing of even more HIV treatment centers. We've already seen a decrease in them since last year due to Trump's increased cuts to funding. According to the Human Rights Campaign, a study by AMFAR found that over 1,700 HIV testing sites have already shuttered their doors since Trump took over. The State Department, of course, quickly refuted the study, but can we trust anything that they have to say? PEPFAR is short for the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, an emergency plan developed and implemented by President George W. Bush back in 2003. Launched on World AIDS Day, PEPFAR was crafted with the intention to provide $15 billion over the next 5 years to prevent 7 million new HIV diagnoses, treat at least 2 million people with life-extending drugs, and provide care for at least 10 million people affected by AIDS. End quote. The emergency plan extended to 75 countries. Thanks to funding cuts, the Trump administration has all but gutted PEPFAR. and seemingly has no plans to offer an alternative. He is literally killing us. And family, I say this on my content. If you follow me, you've heard me say this. I'm not sure I'll ever forgive the 76 million people who voted for this man and voted for his administration, thinking he, in some way, he was going to make America great again. It's just a bunch of BS. And the anger in the pit of my stomach is so real. Because not only is he not making it great, he's made it worse than when he started. For more in politics, I love stories like this that we're about to share because despite all of the bad things that the Trump administration continues to do, we are fighting back. And we're fighting back in all different types of ways. And let me tell you about the way that this rugby team called the Baltimore Ferals refused to comply with Trump's trans sports ban. Now, back in February, USA Rugby crumbled to Trump's whims and made a policy stating that the only people, quote, assigned female at birth, end quote, could play on the women's team. Well, last month, the Supreme Court voted 6-3 in West Virginia versus BPJ, essentially giving the power back to the states to decide if they want to ban trans kids from competing in sports at a K through college level. Now, let me read you this statement released by the team. It says, quote, "Trans women are women and belong in women's sports. We are proud that so many of our opponents have shown us that they share these values, and we hope that clubs around the nation continue to recruit and uplift trans players, especially in the face of transphobic policies." The Guardian reported that, quote, "While most trans exclusionary policies in sports face opposition, advocates say that no sport has seen the immediate collective cry of resistance that U.S. women's rugby has in the aftermath of this ban." The Rugby for All initiative was created as a result of transphobic policies. The collective believes that rugby is a sport for all, and they reject World Rugby's backtracking of inclusive policies. In their mission statement, the collective outlines the drive behind their cause. They say, "As international rugby athletes, we love the game and have dedicated years of our lives to it, including doing the work that leaves rugby better than we found it. We are deeply committed to equity and access for all girls and women, including trans girls and women. This is why we firmly oppose World Rugby's reversal of inclusive policies that have allowed transgender women to train and compete in women's rugby for decades." We love to see it. We love to see people standing up to the state, standing up to the federal government, and standing up for what they believe in. Follow the science, family, not the bigotry, not the propaganda. I want you all to follow the science. If we do that, we could leave all of this mess behind. Now feels like a great time to take a quick break. So let's do that. And when we get back, let's get into some culture and entertainment. Have you subscribed to the newsletter yet? We are on Substack now. What are you waiting for? queernewspod.substack.com. queernewspod.substack.com. Visit, put your email address in, then hit upgrade. Go $5 a month to really help us sustain this work. Family, we all we got. Do you have a local news story not getting enough amplification? A queer organization other folks should know? A song coming out? Send us a voicemail to our Queer News tip line so you can get all the amplification you need. Info on how to submit is in the show notes. Welcome back to the show, family. Now let's get into some culture and entertainment. Poet, singer, and songwriter Meshell Ndegeocello returns to the musical world with a brand new cover album titled Synonym, Meshell describes the album as a collection of, quote, classic songs that have diverse tones representing various genres and intentional grooves, end quote. In addition to diverse tones, this album is stacked. And when I say stacked, I mean stacked and star-studded, featuring collaborations with artists like Chaka Khan, Brandi Carlile, Robert Glasper, Willow. And she introduced the lead track, titled I Knew You Were Waiting for Me. And you know who she collaborated with? Cynthia Erivo. I'm just saying. Expanding on why she chose the word synonym, Meshell says, that's how humans are. Regardless of our differences, deep down, we essentially want the same things: healthy food and a safe place to live. We are all different, but at the core of the human condition, we are the same. Meshell continues, this project is an expression of queer liberation as a synonym for liberation for all kinds. The queer community claimed me when others didn't, and for a long time that felt too far away from other communities to which I belong, but now I recognize the ways in which it all overlaps. Once again, I went back to my elders. Audre Lorde told us that there is no single issue struggle. Similarly, these arrangements are synonyms for their originals. These different sounds still mean the same thing. Synonym releases on October the 2nd, but it is currently available for pre-order wherever you buy your music, and that's why we're telling you about it right now. Because artists like Meshell Ndegeocello deserve our support early and often, huh? So go ahead and pre-order Synonym. I already have. We got any Raven Symone fans out there? From Cheetah Girls, to The Cosby Show, to That's So Raven. The actress, singer, writer, director, etc. Come on. Now podcast host, has graced our screens for such a long time, and it's about time she received a star. Raven thanked her supporters in a heartwarming video on her Instagram saying, quote, there's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of feelings, and I'm still processing them, but because it's been a long journey, thank you guys for supporting me for the last, I'ma say it, 40 years. I love you guys, and back to work. It's something to be in entertainment for your entire life, and that is Raven's story. And she's had to grow up in the public eye, be queer in the public eye, weight fluctuations in the public eye. It's hard for any of us to really conceptualize what that could be like. And sometimes watching it was cringe, okay? But to see her blossom in the way in which she has, it's been really beautiful to watch. Chairman of the Walk of Fame Selection Committee, Peter Roth, welcomed the class of 2027 with the following message, quote, the Walk of Fame Selection Committee is proud to welcome the class of 2027 to one of the most enduring symbols of achievement in entertainment. These extraordinary individuals have each made a lasting impact on audiences around the world through their talent, creativity, and dedication to their craft. We are honored to recognize their remarkable contributions and look forward to celebrating them as they take their place in Hollywood history. Raven joins the 2027 Television Walk of Fame class of celebrities alongside David Alan Grier, one of the best to ever do it, Lisa Kudrow, Bill Lawrence, Pedro Pascal, Adam Scott, Jeff Probst, and Keke Palmer herself. A date has not been set for Raven's Walk of Fame ceremony, but all ceremonies will be live streamed at walkoffame.com. Congratulations, Raven. And for our last story today, I want to celebrate Chicago's annual Esteem Awards that was held last week at Sidetrack. And a handful of LGBTQ folks doing the good work received high honors. The Esteem Awards honors and celebrates the change makers, trailblazers, and community champions who are making a real difference in the lives of African American, BIPOC, LGBTQ plus communities, and our allies. Since the creation of the awards in 2007, more than 300 Chicagoans have received an Esteem Award, me being one of them. Now, award recipients for the 2026 ceremony include Chef Dominique Leach for Outstanding Female Service to the Community. Her barbecue is fire. If you've never been to Lexington Barbecue, what are you waiting on? Dr. Travis Gales for Outstanding Male Service to the Community. Darius Caffey, one of our friends here at the show, for Future Leader. Maya Brown for Outstanding Service. Peter Gonya for Artistic Expression. Brandy Nicole Brooks for Outstanding Female Service National, with a special recognition for Jerry Jones, You Be the Cure Institutional Award, and the Chicago Women's Age Project for Service Organization. The Esteem Awards ceremony was held in conjunction with the Red, Pink, and Purple Polka Dot Poetry Slam. 13 contestants took to the stage covering topics such as HIV/AIDS, breast cancer, and domestic violence for the chance to win $1,000 in prize money. The winner, Be the Poet, compared domestic violence to tornadoes with a theme of resilience. I just want to say thank you to Feel Esteem for continuing to honor those in our community through the Esteem Awards. It's a beautiful time. And as you all hear the stories that we report on week after week, there are the bad things that are happening to our communities, but there are the good things too. And when we're doing good, it's good to be recognized for it. It gives you that little extra sometimes that you need when you feel like you're running on E. So congratulations to all the awardees, the Poetry Slam winner, and thank you, Feel Esteem, for continuing to recognize those in our community. Family, you know it's time for Anna's Got a Word, because Anna's always got a word. And my word for today is swag and surf. Now, let me tell you why. On Saturday, I had the opportunity to attend the WNBA's All-Star Game at the United Center. I come to find out afterwards that we broke a record here in Chicago, an attendance record. 19,783 fans showed up to that game on Saturday night, which is the most that have ever shown up for a WNBA All-Star game. And there was a moment where the host, Sean Redwell, told us to get on our feet. And the song started to play. And they said, lock arms with the people next to you. Come on, stand up, lock arms. And we know the song. You know, you start slow with the swag, and then it gets faster and you start surfing. Yes. And I was there with my wife and good friend Jolie, and we swagging and surfing, and the whole stadium is in lock and step, arms wrapped around each other, swagging and surfing. I will never forget that moment. And I'm sharing that with y'all because it was such a simple thing to lock arms and to swag and surf to this decades old song that for some reason this moment never gets old. And it just reminds me how just a simple thing can really, really make such a big impact. So family, as you move throughout your week, think about how you can swag and surf in your own work, how you can bring people together, wrap your arms around somebody, move, lock, and step. Because let me tell you, it was a moment that I truly will never forget. Till next week, family. Peace. If you've enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is written and produced by me, Anna Deshawn. Podcast editing by Ryan Woodhall, and brought to you by E3 Radio and distributed on The Cube. We are Queer News Done Right.